Hello and welcome back to the world's greatest, most premier podcast, Chatting Breeze, with myself, Belters. This week, we've got a special one for you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a jungle DJ on the podcast. Could you believe it? I managed to find one somewhere in Bristol. There's hardly any of them, and I somehow managed to wrangle one. So, yeah, we've got No Nation on the podcast. All jokes aside, he's an absolute legend. Had such a wicked chat with him. Chatted everything from free parties in London to coming to Bristol. Spoke about jazz for a little bit as well. But that conversation is actually over on the Patreon in the final half an hour. So if you're not on the Patreon already and you want to hear that, head to patreon.com/belters now and join the Belters Club for £5, and you get all of our tunes for free and all the rest of it. But if not, no worries. Just make sure to leave us a like or a 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify, etc., all that boring stuff. Yeah, I'm going to stop waffling now and let the conversation flow. I'll catch you at the end of the episode. Enjoy. One of them. And we are rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Chatting Breeze. We're in, by the way. It's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Finally.
Finally. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today with man like No Nation, a.k.a. Hamza. Am I allowed to leak your first name like that?
It's happened now.
It's done. It's done. What would you like me to refer to you as? Superhero names or?
Hamza.
All right, okay. Hamza is, or No Nation is, a jungle producer. I was about to try and describe your style, but then
Jungle producer. Do you know what someone said to me the other day?
What?
They said this is someone who bought the Banoffee's EP.
Yeah.
Messaged me, was like, oh, I really like it, and was like, oh, I don't know what this is. It's like a progressive emo breaks.
Perfect. That's genius.
It sounds like a fucking wanker, innit?
Nah, we're going with that. So yeah, No Nation is a progressive emo breaks producer. If you're into your jungle, and especially if you're from Bristol, you've definitely heard his stuff. You've almost certainly seen him playing out. And yeah, just someone who's like sound is, because like, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not the most ginormous jungle fan, but I always find that
ginormous.
I'm not the most ginormous jungle fan. Yeah, sticking with that. But your sound and like the sort of more atmospheric sort of stuff is definitely like the stuff that I would back like more than. I don't know. I'm not about to start hating on jungle.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of different styles of jungle in Bristol, innit?
In Bristol, especially.
I think mine is more like kind of soulful, cinematic. Yeah, I think. I mean, that's what I've been on lately, or for the past couple of years, is trying to mix like cinematic sounds and soulful vocals and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Where do you think that comes from? Like, have you always sort of been into that sort of vibe, like before that, with your other like musical endeavors? Because I guess we'll get into those, but
yeah, I've always loved soul music. I've always been a soul music head, and cinematic music. I've always loved like fucking film scores and stuff. So I think my ear is just, when I'm sitting at the laptop, that's just where my fucking ear is, innit? You know what I mean?
Hans Zimmer type beat.
Yeah. Hans Zimmer type beats.
Come on. Where did, I guess, have you always sort of had like a musical side to you, or has it only been in like your more recent life that you've decided to pursue this?
I've always loved music.
Yeah.
I've always loved music. From about 12 years old, I was like, I used to love like jazz hip hop.
Okay.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Lupe Fiasco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of that sort of the more soulful side of hip hop. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jay Dilla, Common, Mos Def.
The classics, mate.
Yeah. And then
my dad loves all that shit so much. He still bangs it now. He used to play it and like fucking throw me in the air and dance you around the house to like Biggie and like.
I like it because it's like it's nice. It's like I always loved. I mean, fucking gangster rap, 50 Cent and all that as well. But I don't relate to that at all. You know, no one. The more conscious side of things, I fucked with it more from early. You know what I mean? And then I started playing guitar.
Ooh,
when I was a teenager.
Oh, so you've actually got some talent then.
And then I was like playing jazz.
Ooh.
and a little bit classical. I've always been a big jazz fan.
Yeah.
Then I started raving, but probably a lot later in life than most.
Yeah. How old were you when you started doing like playing instruments and like going through that phase? Like what sort of?
That was like from 12 to 21.
Okay.
And then
were you just primarily sort of just playing? You weren't like sort of writing or doing anything like that at that point?
What do you mean? As in, I wasn't like writing my music.
Yeah.
I was saying, no, I wasn't writing none of my own music them times. I was just trying to play tunes that I liked. And then, but it was mostly noodling, you know what I mean? I just used to take my guitar to my friend's house and we just fuck around, you know what I mean?
Like jamming or whatever.
Yeah. And then I fucking put the guitar down. My 20s happened. And then I just got busy all of a sudden, you know what I mean? After uni. And then about, what was it, maybe 4 years ago now? I started, well, maybe more than that. 5 years ago, I started fucking with Ableton. Ableton and Machine. I used to have a fucking, you know, the Machine Native Instruments thing.
Yes,
I really wanted to be J Dilla in it, so I was like,
doing the
chop up samples and make hip hop beats and stuff.
Nice.
And then that was like stuff that I was just kind of just doing for myself. I never imagined releasing tunes and stuff. And then after that, then I started raving, and then I was like, fuck, I need to start making this shit, because like, I never heard shit like this before, you know what I mean? Like it was a jungle that got me onto it, but now I'm in all other different genres in it. Like I fuck with techno and footwork, and but jungle was the first that was like, oh right, what the fuck is this? I need to make this.
With the hip hop stuff, I wanted to sort of sit there just for a minute, because I've seen some videos of you doing some little scratches on the...
Yeah, when I first started DJing, this was in like 2017, early 2017.
Right. I was still in college then, just for reference.
Yeah, early 2017, but I used to play, I started DJing, I used to play hip hop R&B.
Yeah.
So I used to play like, and I was playing like not, do you know when you go to hip hop R&B raves, it's like no one's going for the DJ really. People go for the event sort of thing. It's only you'd have to be really big DJ in hip hop and R&B to like Jazzy Jeff or you know them ones like Pepe Scratch Bastard and all of them guys. I was playing like pubs and shit. You know what I mean? And then,
so you were still getting out there then? You were still doing bits and bobs, like...
Yeah, I wasn't playing none of my own music.
Yeah, of course,
And so that was 2017. And at the time I was into scratching, innit?
Yeah.
I love scratching.
You were pretty nice from the ones that I saw.
Yeah, I was alright, I was decent. I could do a couple juggles and that.
Come on.
Yeah, it's a muscle memory thing, innit? I can't do it now though, because it's like the muscle memory's gone, innit?
Have you tried recently? Have you?
Relatively recently, and it was not good. You know,
you can't juggle atmospheric emo breaks either.
Do you know what you can do? Yeah, there's people that scratch. Have you seen Jerome Hill?
No, I don't think so.
He's like a hardcore and techno bleeps DJ. He can scratch. He scratches hardcore.
I'll put a video of him doing it behind us.
It's
now.
like you got to think like all of the early. Do you know like them b-boy tracks?
Yeah,
they're kind of like electro. And bleeps and that. You people been scratching on that shit. I mean, that's where it fucking all really kind of started, didn't it?
True, yeah. So you did that for a little bit. What? I guess you said it was just going raving that made you sort of change your style, or?
Yeah, I mean, I just never heard nothing like that until that point, you know, them ones. And so it just introduced a bigger palette of sounds that I was like, right, okay, fucking music can sound like this. It doesn't have to be 85 BPM, it doesn't have to be 90 BPM. I can fucking turn it up to 160. Yeah. And we can go mental with the drums, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to just be boom bap, skiddy bap, 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 you know what I mean?
Yes. Who were you first going raving with? Do you remember some of your earlier parties, or a little bit of a blur?
I had original raving crew that I was going out with. Yeah. We just don't get together as much anymore. But yeah, like Sheba Q and a few of her friends. And back then we've all just kind of grown apart.
Yeah. And whereabouts was that in?
I was all in London.
Was it?
Yeah, I was living in London at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was living in East London. Then lockdown started, didn't it?
And that's when you came to Bristol?
No. So I started raving like mid 2019. Went to some sick parties. Then fucking lockdown started. Then I started banging out free parties because obviously lockdown was happening.
Yes.
So I was like, fuck it, I need to
Were
do
you going
something.
to quite a lot of those?
Yeah, forest raves and that. It was happening in East London.
Forest rave in East London?
Yeah.
What were they like?
Very Italian.
That's not what I thought you were going to say at all, bro. Very how so?
It was bare Italian people. It was techno, innit? No, these were sick. They were like fucking, because it was lockdown, innit? So it was like everyone had to move secret.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
people are sneaking through the, and when I say forest party in East London, it's like obviously that bit of wood that is like on the side of the motorway.
Yeah, and they're like, it's this giant forest, man. Yeah.
So it's like that was a fun time, man.
How did you find out about them? Like in the COVID times, how did word get around?
It was WhatsApp groups, innit?
Was it?
Yeah.
Ah.
If you was reading the papers, yeah, I remember there was one of the parties we was going to where it got fucking reported in the papers.
Really?
That was funny. And yeah, and the geezer that was running the party, he was like well proud of it.
Wearing it as a badge of honor.
Yeah, he put the link in the WhatsApp group. It was like, oh guys, we made it to the papers.
Come on.
No, this is not a good thing. You're gonna get fined. You're gonna go to jail.
My God.
I can't get in trouble for saying that, admitting all of that now, can I?
No, mate, that's been
That's all
gone.
done,
Yeah. No, you're fine. Well, fingers crossed anyway. I just can't imagine because like obviously I was doing like a similar sort of thing, but it was more just like going to mates' houses and just like being sneaky about it and that sort of thing. Yeah, to be honest, I think you can get away with saying that, especially now you see what the fucking government was playing out the whole time.
Yeah, do you know them ones?
But I can't imagine like you like sneaking because like there comes I'm trying to picture it in my head of like going to like this like forest party like in London, and like obviously you get off at whatever station. There comes a point where there's got to be like a large enough crowd of you in like a relatively.
Yeah, most of them got shut down.
Yeah,
most of them got shut down. But it was just like I don't know, man. It was the excitement of the whole thing, innit?
Yeah.
You know them ones, and it was bored, bruv. We were so bored, fam. You know them ones. So it's like, bruv, what else are we gonna do?
Did you ever get a chance to play any of them or anything? Or
I flipping, I did throw a free party
during
Eat Out to Help Out, so I
Really?
didn't feel so bad
during
about it.
Eat Out to Help
During
Out?
Eat Out to
Did
Help
you have a
Out.
discount? Or anything on that, or-
It was legit. This was free, and in Hackney Wick during Eat Out to Help Out because everyone was out anyway.
Oh yeah,
so I thought I might like we've got to do something. One of my friends had a sound system. Another one of my friends, she was moving out of a warehouse, one of the Hackney Wick warehouses, and the landlord already told them that he ain't giving the deposit back. So it was like 100% we're gonna ross your warehouse now.
Yeah.
That's basically you just giving us you've given us permission to go ahead. You know them ones. So then we put the sound system in there. I put a flyer out and we just opened the doors at 11. It's funny because on the day I went to Sainsbury's in Hackney Central and I basically emptied my bank account to buy booze to sell behind the bar that we had and then so I think I had about £150 in my bank account. Spent it on the booze, and then I remember on the way we was driving to the venue, and I was praying. I was thinking to myself, please just let 30, 40 people come just to buy up my booze.
Just a small one, please.
Yeah, even if it's just 2 hours, just a small thing, like whatever it is. Just let someone, because I didn't know if anyone was gonna come in it. You know, because it's like the first party I've put on, and it was during COVID. Yeah. So I was kind of like, shit, like I don't know how this is gonna end, but I don't want to end up skinted out of the end of it or fucking skinted with a fine, you know what I mean? So we opened the doors, 11 o'clock, started playing music. We had about, I don't know how many cans we had for £150. I don't know, maybe about 100 cans.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, innit? Yeah, maybe, something like that. But in that ballpark, by 12, they were gone.
Fuck.
There was about 250 people inside. And there was about 100 people in the queue outside that wrapped around the building.
How big was the venue?
It was about 250 people.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like Ramo inside. It was sick. It was a fucking sick party.
It sounds
it was a fucking sick party. I had an idea to put so where the DJ booth was, I put a mosquito on it like across the room, and then on the other side of the room I put a projector. So the projection went on the mosquito on it.
Right.
And then I used like Do you know, like I went on YouTube and I looked at like videos with a black background, like lightning with a black background and shit.
Come on.
So then on the mosquito net, it just looked like when you turn the lights off, you couldn't see the net no more.
Yeah.
So it looked like there was fucking
but
lightning
like,
striking inside the middle of the room and shit, like dancers.
That's genius. That's
you know them
very
dancers
smart.
from was it America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent, the ones that wore the light suits.
No,
and they would dance. They would dance in the dark, and it was like a mad thing.
I don't think I know that.
Oh,
no.
okay, well that was a thing, innit?
Mad.
And I got videos of them, and so it was like I had like these weird fucking dancers in the sky and shit. It was sick. It was one of the best nights of my life.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of the best nights of my life. It was hilarious.
Did you do any other parties like that after that, or
Nah, it got difficult. It got too difficult. Parties in London, especially. Free party scene in London is basically done now.
Really?
Yeah, like I've tried to go to a few since, unless they're really small, and at that point it's like it's a house party.
Yeah.
They don't really happen no more.
Yeah, I've heard from what I've heard from people that have been as well, like in more recent times, it's just a lot of like very dodgy like squats where like you don't really know if you're ever really like safe at any given time.
Yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't. Yeah, I think free party scene in London is pretty much it's on a low point right now.
Yeah. Why do you reckon that is? Do you reckon that's just because it's still recovering from COVID and stuff, or
during COVID, police got brutal. Police were starting to go in. Like I remember I went to one. This is after COVID now. I went to one Halloween, I think 2 years ago, and they sent out 2 police helicopters. And then someone was telling me, this party is definitely going to get shut down because as soon as the helicopter leaves the ground, they've spent like 40 grand. You know them ones? So it's like, your party's done. They're not going to spend 40 grand and your party's still going to happen. Yeah. And they've done it twice. You know what I mean?
It's an expensive party.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, free party scene in London. I mean, I don't live there no more though, so I don't really, I'm not with the Pulse anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
did you ever go back?
Yeah, but reluctantly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I go for work, man.
What's your stance on London?
It's too busy, bro.
Yeah.
It's way too busy. I don't get me wrong. I love the place. It was my home, innit? I mean, I was born there, but it gets so busy so quickly. It's like every 5 years, it's a fucking different place.
Yeah.
Like if you like anything in London, you go there 5 years later and it's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's difficult to pin down what even is good about London because it's like it's changing all the time. I don't know. Some people might like that, but for me personally, yeah, I like living in Bristol because it's like, or I'm enjoying living in Bristol now because there's like some at least consistent community you can kind of sink your teeth into a little bit. You know what I mean? Like there's actually something to get involved with. Not everything is just a one-off fleeting thing. You know what I mean? There's like
you can sort of get comfortable within something and know that it's not going to
that things are going to happen. You know what I mean? Keep happening. Like there are things like that in London. Don't get me wrong. There's parties and stuff that have been going on for a long time, but for the most part, especially outside of raves and shit, like restaurants or community centers. I mean, community centers, there's none of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Classes and things and workshops and stuff. There's very few of that. There's very little.
You were born in London?
Yes, in East London.
And so were you living there until you came to Bristol then, or?
I was living in basically East London, borderline Essex before I moved to Bristol. But I've lived all across London. I've done mostly in East London. Yeah. Mostly my whole life I've spent in East London.
My London geography is fucking awful, so you could say anything to me right now. I'd be like, sick.
And then I was living in Southwest London for a little bit, but yeah, mostly East London.
And when you threw this big party, were you already No Nation at that point? You were already pushing all that sort of thing. Yeah.
When I started making rave music, it took me a few months to think about the name.
Right.
But then when I locked it, I was like, yes, that is perfect.
What were you really? So I guess you just weren't releasing before. Did you have any names before?
I was just using my last name.
Which is?
Awan.
Oh, that's a good one though, still.
People couldn't really pronounce it. People didn't really know what it was.
How's it spelled?
AWAN.
Okay, yeah.
It was just, I don't know. It was just, I just didn't think about a brand. At that time, I was just playing pubs, innit? No one fucking cared what my fucking DJ name was. They just called me Hamza, innit? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Whereas now, different story.
Yeah, just about. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
What was one of your early releases? Can you remember what they were? Was it a self-release or was it through like
the very first release I done was do you know Slippery Sounds?
Yes, of course. It's a free download with Charlie's label.
Yeah. When his thing was Slippery Sounds, he put out one of my tunes called Memories, and which was a decent tune, but fucking the second half of it is a bit weird because it goes a bit out of tune and stuff.
Was that one of your first ones?
That was the first tune.
You must have been in Bristol already at that point then.
No.
Oh, no.
I can't even remember how. I think he shouted me on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how the fuck I don't know how he heard about that tune. I think he asked me for tunes.
He must have done, right?
I done a mix for him. And then I think we got into the fact that I was making tunes and then he asked me for a tune.
Right.
But yeah, Charlie was the first guy to put a tune out for me.
It's so straight because I know that tune. I remember that tune because when Charlie was releasing his free downloads is when I first sort of...
Yeah, it was part of that series.
Yeah. Those are the first tunes I sort of remember downloading when I first started getting into things. Like, what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago or something?
Something like that.
And I'd never had Charlie or his label down as like a jungle thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was just multi-genre.
Yeah, I guess
he was just putting out whatever tunes he liked.
Yeah.
Which I respected. It was good. That tune, it made me... Especially because he got it mastered and that as well. So it's like the first time I've heard one of my tunes mastered, and it just like opened my mind. Okay, this is a thing that I might actually be able to do. And then after that, I done a bit on different music in London. They run it's one of the guys that runs Blue Planet Wax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
record store in London. So he put out a project for us, and then he cut it to double it. So I was like, I was super gassy, you know. And then I'm holding my tune as well, and I was like, oh shit. And then from there, it was like, then I had aspiration in it. So then things started rolling. Then Sherelle asked us for some music, and then things started rolling a little bit more. And started taking it more seriously. Now I'm more proactive. I make tunes and now I'm fucking... I mean, to be honest, from the beginning, I was quite proactive.
I was gonna say, what's your process for that? Do you like sending things out? Would you rather people come?
But from the beginning, like I remember I've still got the first project that I done, the first EP that I done, on my SoundCloud, on like a private link. And now when I listen to it, I remember at the time I was proud of these tunes, because they're the first jungle tunes I made, and I thought, these slap, but they shit. I sent them to everyone. I sent them to Rupture. I sent it to In Perspective, to Western Law. I sent it to everyone.
Oi, listen to this right fucking now.
But they're shit tunes, But the thing that was good about doing that was that no one gave me no stink energy. All of these labels like flipping Rupture, In Perspective, who else I sent it to? Different. Like they all sat, like they obviously knew that I was like very naive and very like green, when it comes to music production, but they all gave me energy. Like I remember Mantra and Double O, they called me and they was like giving me advice on like how to finish these tunes and stuff, and like they wanted me to keep going, innit? You know them ones, like because I was a fresh face in the scene that I think at that time there wasn't really a lot of fresh faces. What year would that have been, like a couple of years ago? Maybe 4 years ago now. 4 years ago now. But at that time, I think since then, jungle's hit a new high. Yeah. Now everyone wants to make it. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to make it.
You can't go for a piss in any toilet without seeing a poster for something.
You know what I mean? So now I feel like loads of producers, even producers that never made or not known for jungle, are doing breaks. You know what I mean? Like, but at that time, I don't think there was a lot of... It was just a lot of the same people, you know, them ones. So them seeing me as a new face, they like fucking... It's
mad how quickly like
it was nice, you know.
Like things can shift like that in terms of like what genre's popular or like who's coming through to like what genre's being made by certain people. Because like you say, there are people now that weren't even like jungle producers that are now sort of making that style of music. It's strange to sort of think about what like drives that sort of change, you know, whether it's just like the sort of people getting bored of one thing, move on to another. I always think that like the 20-year rule is such a huge thing. Like I think every 20 years.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah, I think it's a huge.
Yeah, because I think
cycle.
it's been about, well, how many years has it been? Rupture's been going 18 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're on a huge high now.
Yeah.
I think for this modern jungle, this like golden period that it's going through, or like up period that it's going through. I think a lot of it you can attribute to those parties in a distant planet doing very well right now, doing parties all up and down the UK, and then there's a lot of people trying to emulate their sound, innit?
Yeah,
you know, bring their sound into whatever party they're doing, and then Rupture as well. Like they done a lot. You know what I mean? And they're very popular now. Their crowd is like not just older people, but younger people as well. You know what I mean? And there's
my thing with jungle and all the Rupture stuff and all that side of things is, and this is not criticism at all, but like it's one of the like, or at least it shows this to a very strong extent. Is it's like the new stuff is trying very hard to still sound like the old stuff. I feel like it's one of the only like sort of sub-genres of dance music that like is coming back for its second wind now, maybe. And whereas with other genres that have come back, they've kind of changed it a little bit. But I think the thing with jungle producers and DJs is that they have a very strong commitment to sort of keeping it as it was almost. Is that something that you feel? Or?
Yeah, it depends on who you are, innit? Like there's definitely, I think this, I speak about this a lot, you know, like on socials and that, But me personally, I think that all my favorite producers are ones that are trying to do future shit.
Okay.
You know, even if they're trying to keep certain parts of the old sound, like Tim Reaper, for example.
Yeah.
He's taking it, he's using modern technology in it. Mm-hmm. So I think, not to say that, he puts out a lot of music, a lot of it, some of it sounds like stuff that was made in 94.
Yeah.
But the ones that I like the most of his repertoire, are the ones that sound like, wow, this is some future shit. You know what I mean? Even if it sounds like what they, like kind of essence of influences of 94, 92, 93, but he's taken it he's brought it into 2023, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But there's loads of producers, bruv. There's a whole, on Facebook, there's like, you know, these old
here we go on Facebook,
these old boys, or like these Facebook groups that talk about jungle. There's old boys on Facebook that say, if it wasn't made on an Amiga or flipping S2000, then it's not jungle. I'm like, fam, you need to relax. I don't rate that,
What is that though? Because like you find that everywhere you go with all sorts of art, don't you? Where it's like, if it's not done the way that it was first ever done, then it's not real. Or like, I guess it's the same sort of thing of like, back in my day, or like whatever.
Yeah, because I think in hardcore and UK dance, hardcore and jungle, 92 to 94, I think people, they experience, especially at the time, in the socio-political context, within that context of what was going on at the time. I don't really know too much about that side politically, but I know in the party scene, I think people were just inspired, innit? It was like a special time, and people knew that something special was happening right now. So I think and it died very abruptly in 95.
Did it?
The free party scene in 95 died abruptly because they passed laws to stop.
Right, yes.
Before that, there was no laws to stop any free parties. You could just do it. You know what I mean? And the police would turn up, but it's like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what law are you? You're not arresting me for anything, you know them ones. But then in 95, they gave police powers in it, so it stopped abruptly. So I think people, maybe they felt a bit shortchanged after that. And then when the music went from the free party to the clubs, you can hear between 94 and 95, there's a big difference.
Like sonically in the music.
Yeah, because it went from like carnival music.
Yeah.
To like more clubby, darker, techie.
Right. Is that with like drum and bass and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when drum and bass started, didn't it? So I think there's a lot of fans that they just remember that time. And that's fine. That's fine, yeah. But me personally, my own music taste, like, don't get me wrong, I love 92, 93 hardcore. I love 94 jungle. But I love even 95 to 99 drum and bass, I love all of that shit, But my favorite producers now, Tim Reaper, Breakage, you know, like Double O, Threshold, Gin, like they're taking breaks into the future. Like Breakage makes breaks. He takes breaks, old breaks that they used to use back in the day. but he's making them sound like future breaks. You know what I mean? He's trying to do the next thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope for my own music, you know, because that's what inspires me to make music. I'm not really trying to do, like, when I sit down at the laptop, the last thing I want to do is something that sounds like it was made in 94. Because one, all the best 94 sounding tunes were made in 94.
Yeah.
Them ones. And it was
There's
like,
a reason for that,
it's fucking 30 years ago, bro.
Yeah. That is fucking mad to think, though,
you know what I mean?
Like,
30
Jesus.
years ago, bro. It's like, I'm in 2023. I want to do the next thing. Progressive human breaks, bro.
Yes, exactly, bro. Exactly. What does the future sound like then to you in terms of like what differences would you draw from like the 94 stuff to the direction that you see it going in the next like few years or whatever?
I don't know. It's a preference, isn't it?
Of
That's
course.
a preference thing, but I think that that's a difficult question. What the fuck does the future sound like?
It's tough, isn't it?
I can tell. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one really, but like,
because sometimes it's more just about like the sort of vibe of the whole tune rather than the specifics. Like you can't point to like the changes in the way that people are like using the breaks and like that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's certain things from the past that I look towards, like arrangements that I don't think we're never gonna beat those. Like soul arrangers from the 90s, 70s. Yeah. We're not gonna. If anything, you need to study what they did to inspire your own arrangements. Yeah, like that was the master. They were the masters. You know them ones, or I don't know, for like sound system music. You got to look at early reggae. Yeah, like is digital reggae ever gonna? Gonna be able to match up to what that is. I don't. This is what I'm saying. I don't know. Yeah. So there's certain things from the past. There's certain great things that happened in the past that are there. That's it. They've cemented themselves in it. They're never gonna change in it. But I don't know. I could tell you maybe where I hope my music would go.
Sure.
But then that changes every day, innit? You know, them ones like that changes zoot to zoot. Like, I think I want to go in this direction, and I spot this, and I'm like, oh, maybe that direction. You know, them ones.
I think a lot of it comes down to, like you say, like the technology, like the move to digital, especially for like sound system style music, has changed the way people sort of experience that whole process of listening to music on a sound system. You know, like stuff that's made purely in the box, it's just naturally like not going to sound the same as
sometimes it can sound a bit hygienic. I like
clinical.
I like clinical. Like I like my music to sound clean, but not hygienic. Like that's or at least the sort of drum and bass that I enjoy, or the just dance music across the board that I listen to. When I say hygienic, I'm talking like Hospital Records. A lot of their stuff I would say is, for me. Sorry.
No, please, sir. Let it out.
Reverberating on me.
That's what happens when you get it from the can, bro. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
It's alright from the can, though.
It's alright, yeah.
I never had it from the can, but that was decent.
You never had Guinness from the can?
No. I get it from the bottle.
You get the free ping pong ball as well, so.
It's decent. So. What the fuck was he talking about?
Something about
cleanly music.
Records, hygienic.
So, a lot of their music I would call, for me, too hygienic, or
it's just like, it's very like, it's sometimes it can seem a bit like painting by numbers a little bit with that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
It's too clean. I don't know what it is. But it's got no like warmth about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's like a. I think you can take the mix down too far almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've lost the vibe in the track. You just feel like obsessed
it's made
about
by like a human being. Do you know what I mean?
It just sounds too poppy. You know what I mean? Pop vocals are always very like, whenever I work with a lot of vocalists, or I have done in the past, and they're always like, but I don't have a studio to record my vocals on. And I'm like, listen, fuck all of that. We're not making a pop tune. Just fucking send me a voice note. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, look at Burial. None of them tunes have good mix downs. But they work, you know what I mean? Because they've got like this quality about them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That just gives it, I don't know, it's just nice to listen to. Man.
It's that organic feel where you can feel like someone's actually put like a lot of time and like thought into something, rather than it just being like, I'm going to make a tune that sounds like these other tunes that have already been made. In terms of like speaking from like the position of like more conventional drum and bass and jungle, where it's very much, it seems to me at least, a little bit more like cookie cutter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. I mean, that's why a lot of the like flipping. You know what I don't like? Ragga D&B. Oof, that is cookie cutter music. Or even, to be honest, I say that. Yeah, even you know these people that are doing like kind of rehashed 94 fucking tunes again. It's like, okay, yeah. So what at the beginning of the tune, it starts with like a rare groove sort of like R&B, sort of 80s R&B sort of vibe. Oh, and then it's gonna have a little sound clash sample with a Jamaican guy speaking, and then dub siren and amen, and then bassline. And it's like I've heard this tune so many times. I'm tired now. Let's the next thing. You know what I mean? I think there's so many artists that are doing the next thing. I'm almost annoyed that so many people are like they're playing old music. So many DJs are playing old music from 30 years ago, which don't get me wrong. Again, I keep on having to give this disclaimer. Yeah, I love them tunes. Like DJ SS, Lighter, and Easy Man are two of my favorite tunes of all time. Nothing's ever going to change that. Yeah, they don't leave my record bag.
Yeah.
But there's so many artists making tunes now that are incredible, and I think those need to be put on. Yeah, you know what I mean. Especially in this little golden thing that's going on. Why are we playing old tunes for? Yeah, buying secondhand tunes off of Discogs. We need to buy new tunes off of Bandcamp. You know what I mean. Yeah, you're so right. I saw you on your story chat about it the other day, actually. I think it's funny, your Instagram story is something I wanted to touch on. Oh, God. But do you know what's funny, yeah? When I go out, go to parties and stuff, people are like, oh, you're No Nation. I'm like, oh, yeah, nice to meet you. And they're like, oh, I love your stories. And I'm like, bruv, buy my music. Why are you watching my story, you pagan? You know that one? Yeah. But all my stories just reposted bullshit, man. But it's about I don't want to. I'm going to regret using this word, but it is about like your brand identity that comes with the No Nation. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I've definitely used social media as a tool for building a certain brand aesthetic. You know what I mean? That's gonna change over time as well, hopefully. I want people to take me a bit more serious, man. What's all of this story bullshit? Like, don't get me wrong, yeah. Like I think that I've always wanted to, because the brand is me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I wanted to, the story was a way of me communicating my personality over. And I think people get that. And I'm glad people get that. But I do want to push the focus in a more musical direction. You know them ones like. I feel you, but I think what you're doing now is it is very much, I can tell it's very much you, and it doesn't come from a place of like trying to make yourself appear a certain way or whatever. Yeah. But do you not think that those two things can run side by side? But I guess if they're not at the minute, it's like how you get people to sort of pay attention to the music whilst sort of knowing you as like the character. Yeah, that you are. I get what you mean. And I think I'm not gonna say that everything I've done up until this point in terms of like social media, has not helped. It definitely has. But I think as a musician, it's better to say things through the music. It's better to let the music do most of the talking. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. I think that's what I want to focus on going forward. Like, not to say I'm gonna still say funny shit. I'm still the same scatty person I was last year. If you don't have you walking around filming yourself in your dressing gown making like a cup of tea. I mean, that's never gonna change, innit? Like that's my that's my bread and butter day to day, man. You know what I mean? Because it's difficult, isn't it? Because you have like different kinds of artists, like some people who prefer the art to speak for themselves, and some people who prefer to have like themselves being like part of the thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's some people that they play character in it. Yes, and that kind of, in a sense, I feel like kind of maybe adds to the thing that they're creating rather than sort of becomes a thing that replaces it. But I guess you can go too far either way. Do you know what I mean? You can be one of these people that just puts out music and has no online presence whatsoever, and just, I'm not going to fuck with that. I'm just going to let the tunes speak for themselves, and that can work really well, and has worked really well for a few people. But I imagine it's worked not so well for a lot more people. Especially in the age we're in now. Branding is difficult, man. Branding is very difficult. Like, I think people criticize a lot of artists for, like playing a character. Yeah. But I definitely fuck with that idea. Like, really, really, No Nation, like my aim or my idea or my intention going forward is to introduce like a concept or character to that brand. Give me an example of someone else who you think does that. Does that well?
Yeah, because I can't.
Like some of the biggest, like Burial, for example.
Right,
no one even knew who he was.
Right,
you know them ones.
yeah.
It was like that was just the music doing the talking, and I think that music said so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the projects that had concepts.
But in terms of someone who you think has like more of like a character going on, because it's difficult, isn't it? Because you never really know with someone.
It's a lot of people outside of like rave, to be fair.
Right.
That I'd
Okay.
be talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
Like hip hop and that.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's a lot of characters in
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in pop and stuff like that.
Would you like to go more down that road yourself then, or
What, making hip hop?
no?
And making pop?
No, like playing a character, like sort of like. putting
Yeah, I
on
want to
more of a
introduce because
mask.
like with I think my brand it's a conceptual brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be a bit of like pageantry for it. You know what I mean? To communicate a message. That's what I'm saying. I want to speak more. I don't want to just speak kind of just random, scatty, funny bullshit.
Yeah.
Which was, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm always going to do that because that's the type of person I am. But I do want to try and like now my brand is getting a little bit of recognition. I want to try and push like concepts. You know what I mean? Like, and underlying all of them concepts is just all my experience. So
Yes.
essentially, it is just me again.
Yes.
But I think it's a more poetic way of me being able to speak, and it's more music focused, and like it's all art, innit? At the end of the day, like the music is part of it, but my brand aesthetic, the artists I choose to work with, you know what I mean? Like my border control night is all done very specifically. Like it's all done very purposefully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been experimenting with the aesthetic of the brand, and because there's like I mean, at least from the nights that inspire me and the labels that inspire me, that is one thing that I think they've got is like they've carved out their lane in it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? They've carved out like a fucking, like a niche, an aesthetic, and people, a flavor. They've got their own flavor. Distant Planet is very different flavor to Rupture.
Yeah.
Even though you can play the same tunes at either of those, but they've carved out, and the crowds are slightly different because of it.
Yeah.
And it works.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And it's like you can't get a Rupture without, you can't get that flavor without going to Rupture. You can't get a Distant Planet without going to Distant Planet. You know what I mean?
Would you say you're consciously trying to carve out your own lane with the No Nation?
Yeah, 100%.
Thing?
Yeah.
Would you say then that No Nation is more than just you as a producer then, that it's like an overarching, because obviously we'll touch on border control because that's a big part of what you're doing as well. Would you say that because it's difficult because it's like where do you, because I often find this as well, it's like where do you draw the line between like No Nation as the producer and No Nation as the brand that puts on events and that sort of thing, or are they just the same thing in your mind? Because for me,
You're going.
like I'll give you an example. For me, I find that Belters is my label. Belters is also me. Belters is it's just, do you know what I mean?
It's like an umbrella of a lot of things that you do.
Yeah.
Like, what's your impression of what No Nation is?
Oh, before this conversation, No Nation is just you as a producer.
Yeah.
And your nights are, I'd say, border control is just like a night that you would put on and as a promoter. But now I'm starting to think maybe you see it more as like a sort of umbrella kind of brand that sort of encompasses like all of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously my production alias, that is the majority of what No Nation is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But because I like to do conceptual stuff, like all of the releases that I put out, there's been some underlying concept. Whether I've been able to communicate that so well to people or not, is okay. The Banoffee one, that is probably the least conceptual of all of the. I mean, even though the songs all come from the same sort of palette of sounds, I made them at the same time. So I mean, for me, when I listen to that EP, there's a concept behind it, which is what I was feeling at that time. You know what I mean? But everything else has had concept.
Yeah.
So I would say that all of whatever that concept is part of the No Nation brand. You know what I mean? And the it's not just me. It's not just a picture of the No Nation. It's not just this.
Yes.
You know them ones. Like, it's like there's like all the other things that I want to say come underneath that sort of, and all the other ways that I want to try and portray that. Whether it's like that fucking album artwork or stuff that I'm talking about on my story, I would hope that it all adds to what that brand is, in it. You know what I mean?
I think a good example of your like conceptual works would be like your latest self-release that you put out. Because I think that
Which one was that? Kill My Ex one?
No, the redacted one.
Oh, yeah. That's got a very specific story, you know that one?
What's the story?
But flipping, what is it called? Fucking, what's that fucking wanker's name, man? Fucking Jimmy Asquith, bruv. That fucking, what is it?
Oh, shit. Lobster.
Lobster Theremin. Ah, fuck me. That was the album I'd signed to Lobster Themin.
Oh, yes. I know. I remember you told me this actually. I remember. Yeah.
So I fucking, so that was the album I'd signed to Lobster Themin. I signed a contract and everything. Then obviously all the drama come out. So I said to him, you need to fucking give my tracks back because my grandma's voice is on one of them tracks. I can't let you release my grandma's voice.
Yes, of course.
So that's why I called it redacted, because it was like, I didn't want to give the tunes back. So I just
interesting.
changed the name of all of them.
Did you ever hear from them? Yeah.
That's what you're going to do. You're going to go to small claims court to get what? Flipping £50 for me.
Yeah.
All right.
So aside from that, what was the idea behind that project before all that shit kicked off and before you decided to self-release it?
It was
because the whole thing is an incredibly cohesive like body of work, and like there's a lot of tracks on there.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's like 12 tracks or something like that, isn't it?
Is it even like, correct me if I'm wrong, there's like interludes and things as well. It's not all just like
it's like
full tunes.
Yeah. There's like short little bits in it. I think so. It was called "It's a Long Story," and the tunes, I made them from the same palette of sounds. I try to when I do project, I try to draw. I mean, whenever I go and sit down at the laptop, like the last dub pack I sent out, those are from the same palette.
Right.
Now I'm sitting down, I'll figure out a new palette. I mean, this just goes with what I'm feeling in it at the time.
So what, you would build up a sample library if you knew you were going to work with
not even that, but I just lean towards certain sounds or certain keys and certain chord progressions and stuff. So the album, it was called It's a Long Story. It was supposed to be
it's that fucking Guinness, mate. It's cheeky.
It was supposed to be a 2 vinyl set.
Right, okay, wow.
And it was going to be what, 2, 4, 6.
You can fit 3 on a side
9,
if you really want to.
Yeah, it was going to be 9 tracks. So 3 sides with 2 tracks and then 1 side with 3 tracks. Okay. But obviously it ended up coming out like that. But the concept was kind of, because it was all mid-lockdown, late lockdown. No, in fact, no, it wasn't. This was towards the end of this was all music I made procrastinating my dissertation for my master's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, but at that time, I was going through a hard emotional period, and like, I don't know, I think at that time I was remembering a lot of my 20s, which had been very difficult. And essentially, the name of the project, It's a Long Story, came down to, if you were going to ask me at that time, why do you like raving so much? I could give you a very simple answer. That would be, I just like the music, and I like loud music, and I like to drink, and I like to do this, and I like to do that. But if I was going to give you a full answer for why is it specifically certain types of raves satisfy me, that's a very long story, you know what I mean? Because you gotta like link in, I don't know, I think raving is like an escape for people within, like for a lot of people that rave within a certain capacity. You know, sometimes that can be unhealthy and sometimes that can be healthy, you know, them ones. And at that time, I think I was very aware that my connection with music, especially with like painful music that I was listening to, like painful soul music and all of this painful sort of like cinematic music, was linked to like shit that I was processing, you know them ones. Hence the title, It's a Long Story. You know what I mean?
Do you find that you're still, what's your relationship like with raving and going out now? Like, do you find that, I guess, do you go out now as much as you did? I
got a lot, but I got a lot. Fuck me. Fam, in 2022. We're in 2020. Is it? What year?
We're 24 now.
Okay, yeah. What? We're in 24.
We're 24 now, bro.
In 23. This is what I mean. In 23, I think I went out every single weekend.
Fuck yeah. I mean,
I don't think I took a single weekend off. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
I don't think I'm far behind you, but that is impressive. Like, that's pretty mad.
Because I work from home, bro. So it's like at the end of on Sunday of every weekend, 2023, I wake up, I'll be like, oh, I need to stop doing this. This is fucked. I feel like shit. And then because I'm working from home, Monday would happen. I feel a bit rough.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, I'm fine. By Wednesday, I've slept so much.
Yeah.
So I'm so recovered. By Thursday, I'm bored. By Friday, I'm getting out.
You're going out, yeah.
It's like, so that was like the fucking pattern of my life, and I've been enjoying it, man. I've been enjoying
that's
it.
I think it's one of those
stepping out into other genres, man. There's so many good fucking parties, and like Bristol is sick right now, man. Like there's every weekend, like whether it's like something, there's a donk thing going on, or there's a techno thing, garage. Like it's not just jungle drum and bass.
You said you're going to a donk and Beyblade party,
yeah, Saturday. That's gonna bang. I'm excited for that.
That sounds fucking mental. Yeah, Bristol is so good at the minute. It almost seems like there's like too much happening for you to even choose.
Yeah, 100%. And I think so much of where I find inspiration is from going out and going to nights out and hearing music being played out live and seeing people enjoy it live and seeing how people vibes with different sounds. That inspires my music so much, you know them ones. So it's like I want to keep doing that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I need to keep seeing.
Do you find that your sound and your tastes are changing as you're experiencing different genres, like going out? Do you find
100%
an impact on your production? And your
yeah, definitely. Because before I was just on breaks, just pure cutting breaks, And don't get me wrong, like I still enjoy doing that. Like in the last dub pack I sent out, some tunes are like they're just fucking to just tear out breaks, tear out amens and that. But yeah, I've been introducing more like techno influence, footwork. Fucking a 140 sort of like influence. Even if my tracks ain't 140.
Yeah, you're still keeping it 160 and up.
It goes up and down, innit?
Yeah.
You know, them ones like I've been doing I've done a couple like 140 break bits. And yeah, but I get inspired going out and hearing DJs playing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That inspires me, so I enjoy doing that.
That's so good. I think it's good to have a healthy relationship with going out. I definitely know some people that have a less than healthy relationship with it. But I think if you're using it for something that's like, not using it, but like you're enjoying it and it's also sort of fueling the other thing, then like, you know, it's never a bad thing, is it? I mean, how long have you been trying to sort of diversify the sort of stuff you've been going out to see? Has that all been from the last year or?
I think,
or is it even a conscious thing?
No, it's not a conscious thing because at the beginning I was making hip hop.
Yes,
and then I started going to jungle nights. Then all of a sudden, jungle started creeping into what I was making. Yeah, and then I started going to techno nights, and then all of a sudden,
I think you've gone from like here to here, and then you sort of finding the bits that are in the middle between the hip hop and the jungle stuff.
Yeah. Like my sound is always moving. You know what I mean? And I definitely have I definitely have a plan for the direction, kind of the general direction I would like to maybe take the brand. Yeah. But ultimately, I don't really have, how much power do I have really to influence my future self? Is like, that just, as I discover things, it just becomes part of my process, innit? You know what I mean?
For sure. I want to chat about border control, because that's something that I feel like you're getting quite a lot
of. I'm excited about it right now. Yeah, it's banging right now.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing that for? It's, I guess,
6 events I think I've done.
You've done 6 events? Yeah. Fucking mental.
Yeah, since like last November I think, which is quite good, isn't it?
That is very good. So for the uninitiated, border control is what? It's your new event series?
Yeah, it's my event series, and it's just back-to-back artists all night. So the first one, me, Boko, Optimistic, back-to-back all night, because we done a back-to-back at education sessions. And everyone was like, that bangs. And it was like one of the funnest sets I played. Yeah. And everyone there was like, that was incredible, yeah. So I was like, shit, I need to do like I need to book that again. Yeah. So I made the intention, and then one day at Cozy's, because I get fried when I'm at Cozy's, yeah.
It's a very easy place to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, I get fried when I'm at Cozy's. I get fried. The bartender's too nice, isn't it? You know, spend the whole night chatting to Rish and just sinking my pints in it. So I think one night I was drunk, and Rish asked me, because Rish has been asking me to put Party on there for ages, isn't it? Really? She likes my brand, innit? So she asked me, we've got dates, you want to put party on. I don't even remember having this conversation with her, but I got a date from her that evening, and then that was funny because I went to Nigeria before I'd even booked it and stuff. I mean, fucking not even remembering that I'd done it, and then remembered shit when I was out there that, oh my God, I've fucking booked this thing. And then it was like a week after I came back as well. God. But so I managed to sort it out from over there. It was fine. It's that the idea for that night it's still developing. But the reason why I put the sets out like that is because in the same way that I'm saying that I like to go out live, listen to music live, because you hear an artist's influences and the music they listen to now and the music they want, the message that they're trying to put out there. Because subconsciously or not, every artist has a vibe or a message or a sound or a brand, you know what I mean? But even just by virtue of the fact that they're playing music that they're listening to, that they enjoy themselves in it. So my idea is I just wanted to take that deeper in it. Like, there's so many artists I know, like Optimistic, he plays jungle and drum and bass. Boca, he plays footwork and jungle. But I know both of them guys love music outside of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if I book them for a whole night, what the fuck else are they going to play? Yeah. Same with Will and Hugo. I put my housemate, I put in the second one. Yeah, Hugo plays a lot of hardcore and Will plays a lot of... They both play a lot of hardcore, but I wanted to see, okay, what outside of this do you like to do? Why is it that you like hardcore? Because I know for a fact it's not just because you're only listening to hardcore at home. Yeah. I know you're listening to a lot of other shit. So it's like, I want to listen to you. I want to hear all of your influences.
What kind of things get played then that would be maybe less than expected?
The first one was mad. The first one was like we started on hardcore, then Boca came on and played some hip hop. Oh no. Boca started with hardcore. Then Jack came on and played hip hop. Then I played some house. Yeah, then we went from hip hop to house. Then we was like house to techno. Then we went from techno back to hardcore. Then we hit jungle. Then we went back to hip hop. And it was like the crowd was like, that was magical, that event, because it was like everyone was in the room, like just waiting for what was going to be played next. Yeah. Because it was so unexpected. You know what I mean? Same thing with Medis. We went from I think I started at house. Went from house to like garage, from garage to like drum and bass. Then we played a bit of techno.
Those are the best nights, is where the crowd, it's when
you don't know what's going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
The last one I played with Wire, and that same sort of thing. And we started on I started on jungle, then stepped into kind of like jungle techno.
How do you make the transition from like jungle to hip hop and not just fucking
slap the fader?
All right.
Put the song on and just slap the fader. Who's gonna complain?
Yeah,
if the track bangs, the track bangs.
That's it.
Like, no one's gonna say nothing.
You find that it doesn't sort of.
I like to. Do you know one DJ that people got to watch more of? Yeah, Double O. Do you know Double O?
Yeah.
He does Rupture. You've got to go live. Yeah, when Double O is playing. Yeah. Go. He's the king of playing the closing set. 6 to 7 in the morning.
Right, that is a fucking closing set.
Yeah, you know them ones. At Corsica, I've seen him play multiple times, 7 to 8 in the morning, and kill it. Jeez. When people are on the last legs. Yeah. And whenever he's playing, I always stand at the front and watch him, because he breaks all the rules that you think. I don't know, I think that people think that there's a way that you're supposed to DJ, and he's just like, nah, fuck that, I'm gonna do it. I'm just going to play the tunes. And don't get me wrong, his mixing is tight when he mixes. Yep. But if he wants, he'll just put a song on and just slap the fader to the other side, and it works. Yeah. But if you do it, if it's the selection has to work. Of course. You know what I mean? And you have to give people enough of this tune for the transition to make sense to them. Yeah. And then the next tune has to land properly. Yeah. You can do shit like mix over the breakdowns and shit like that. Yeah. Like there's ways to be more creative with the way that you mix, you know what I mean? Like I've lately been, especially when I get booked, not so much for Border Control. Border Control is when I'm playing back to back with people, I'm really just trying to keep up with them. Yeah. But when I'm playing my own, when I get booked for one of my own sets, I always go into that set, especially because I'm going with usually a record bag and tunes on my fucking, when I'm going through the process of choosing my record bag, I'm always thinking to myself, okay, what is the theme for this set? Like I played Bad Girls Club end of last year, And for that set, I was like, I wanted to play like a fucking like a heartbreak set.
Right.
So I chose. Like, I don't know what that doesn't really mean anything in terms, because none of the songs have lyrics in it. Like a lot of the fucking tunes that we're playing don't have lyrics in it. But I chose tunes that for me spoke towards that. And then when we was there, I tried to take the crowd on that journey of whatever that meant for me, innit? However they interpret it is that's down to them, innit? At that point, I mean, fucking most of them are fucked, innit? So they ain't interpreting, they're non-verbal, innit? You know what I'm saying? They're not interpreting nothing. But, but at least that's the journey that I brought. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
And I think, going back to Double O, one of the coldest DJs, because he'll break all of the rules. He'll break all of the rules, man, that you think, like a breakdown will start and then he'll just start pushing the track in. And it's kind of like most people will wait for the breakdown to end when the drums come back in and then mix in, but he won't do it. Sometimes he'll just, over the breakdown, bring another track in and just slap the fader at the end of the breakdown and shit like that. And I think that stuff is freeing, innit? Because it's like, you don't have to, you're not in a box of the way that you perform tunes to a crowd, innit? Like you can do a little bit more outside of that.
100%.
I mean?
Yeah, it's so interesting. Do you feel like you're learning lessons about like your selection and like your mixing through doing border control as well?
Yeah,
like
100%. It's practice. It's like, because I'm booking DJs that don't necessarily play the same thing as me, innit? And not even, I don't even know what they're gonna play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you have any discussions before you say like,
I booked Medis.
Yeah.
And she was like, she messaged me and was like, oh, what do you want me to play? Which is a very reasonable question.
Yeah.
And I just told her, listen, I just want you to play what makes you as an artist. Yeah. And I want you to show me what makes you as an artist. You know what I mean? And then I didn't know what the fuck she was gonna bring. Yeah. So I just come loaded up. Yeah. To be honest, I come loaded up with the things that I think make me as an artist. Yeah. And I'm trying to show her. You know what I mean? And it's that conversation, back and forth conversation that we have behind the decks, you know what I mean? And just enjoy it. Like it's that event is as much for me as it is for the crowd.
Oh, definitely. I can see that in like the sort of way you market it and the way you talk about it. Is it something that's very important to you?
Yeah. Like I enjoy it. Like it's definitely, I curate it first and foremost for my own enjoyment.
Yes. Thank you for making it to the end of this episode of Chatting Breeze with No Nation. That was really sick. I had a really good time recording that one with man like Hamza. He's such a good boy. Got so much respect for him and his work and all that he represents. Like I said at the top of the episode, if you want to continue this conversation with us, there's another half an hour over on the Patreon at patreon.com/belters. £5 a month, you get half an hour of extra content each week from the podcast, and you get all of our tunes for free as part of your membership to the Belters Club. There are also some special things on the way soon that I'm going to be giving to my patrons for free. So if you fancy being part of that, then get yourself over there ASAP and join up now. £5 a month, I'd say, is a bloody bargain for what you get. Anyway, I'll leave you to it now to carry on with the rest of your day. Safe, big up for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. In a bit.